So building your own e-commerce site. Small firms have a bunch of options today. Typically, a hosted e-commerce site such as Yahoo Merchant Solution are good choices to get started. They've got site building tools and templates in place. It takes the thought out of systems design. You can literally put a site together in a matter of hours that allows you to conduct transactions for a finite number of products, which is very good for a mom and pop type shop. Then you have open source merchant server software that enables you to truly customize your site, but it requires programmers and expertise. So make sure you have that planned. The platforms underlying hardware equipment, you really have to have capacity that can meet the peak demand without wasting money. So if all of your sales are in Christmas time and they're in December, you could legitimately look at having lower number of hardware components and servers for the other 11 months of the year. But as we ran into back in 1997 and 98 with Toys R Us, the issue was, how do you deal with the oncoming Christmas holidays? The recommendations were to add 3 times as many servers, and they did so for that period of time. They rented them, leased them for that period of time to handle the Christmas rush, and they were able to do that without any downtime. There's a little glitch the first year, some hiccups, got those servers in, resolved it, and then the years following used that model of bringing in more resources for the peak periods. Important to understand many factors that affect speed, capacity, and scalability of the site. Right-sizing your hardware on the demand side of customers coming in. How many users simultaneous during the peak periods? A key indicator. The nature of their requests. How many are user profile requests? How many are dynamic web page requests or static web page requests? How many are processing transactions? Understand those types of requests. Which ones require security? User profile transactions require security. Product displays require less security, if at all. How many products are in your inventory? How many pages are going to be requested at any time? And what's the speed of the interconnectivity to your legacy apps, to your inventory, to your order management, to your financial systems, to your ERP and supply chain systems? And how is that going to impact your overall demand for hardware usability? On the supply side, you should be able to understand the ability of the site to increase as the demand warrants, or scale with demand and with usage activity. A variety of ways to scale, vertically, horizontally. Really, we're talking about improving the processing architecture. Vertically increases the power of individual components. So you have a bunch of servers, and you increase the power of each one, making them stronger so they become larger size dynamically. Horizontally would be going from a 2-tier or single server environment, or two or three server environments, to exponentially go from 3 to 9, to from 9 to 27, and so on. Okay, so the difference, this chart shows the difference to understand the difference between vertical and horizontal scaling. So take a look at this. Aggregating user data, the application aggregating user data from legacy apps in a single data pool, using a faster computer, deploying edge servers, presentation servers, data servers, so granularizing your server functionality, creating clusters of computers, using appliance servers, which are very, very highly optimized hardware appliances, and then segmenting your workload would be another area. Handle e-commerce transactions on one server, handle page requests or content requests on another server are examples of those. Improving the processing architecture. Here's a variety of examples. and they run from optimizing your database schema to help with your search times and taking steps to actually reduce the access time of getting that data back up. Also, caching your database lookup tables is a great technique. So keeping them in cache memory for frequently used database records so they're easy to look up more quickly. Other tools for your e-commerce site. Search engine optimization tools that'll help you build out your meta tags, your titles, your content to make it more findable through search engines. You could also identify market niches and localize your site by language or stylistic choices in the design that work for your local communities. And then utilizing local e-commerce and search engine ads or a variety of other tools for optimizing your e-commerce site. Okay, so think about things that annoy you on websites, and many of them, they're going to annoy your customers. So right away, a lot of them are obvious. Pop-ups, pop-unders, no contact information available, very tough. You got to send in a form. It's surprising to me. It blows my mind that companies still have those. Very, very frustrating. No phone numbers, unclear or no return policy. Think about that. That's some competitive advantage. If you could address most of these capabilities and slow loading pages and links that don't work, those are just, come on. You have to have unconfusing navigation, or you got to have search that's very useful. So if you handle most, if not all of these, you're already at a competitive advantage. So think about that very specifically. This is an important chart. Most important factors in successful e-commerce design: function, information, ease of use for customer experience, redundant navigation, alternative ways to get to the same content. I can't emphasize how important that is. I mean, you might think, well, you already have a path to that information, but guess what? That's because in your mind, that's how that works, or your mind works. If you have 3 or 4 different ways to navigate off the same page to get to the same content, just think about it. It might be at the top of the page, at the bottom of the page. It might be a click here button, or it doesn't matter. Having multiple satisfies different types of customers, or the different needs of the same customer at different points during their experience. So don't bog them down by having limited navigation. Ease of purchase, 1 to 2 clicks. No brainer. Again, a huge slide for your e-commerce business. So focus on this again for your project. Tools for interactivity and active content. A variety of technologies, widgets, mashups. Mashups very big in terms of store location types of things, and then you have the different web interface languages, CGI, ASP, Java, JavaScript, ActiveX. Take a look at those. I'm sure you're discussing those in more depth in your other IT classes. Personalization tools, very important. The ability to treat people based on personal queries and prior history. Hey, user, we realize that you purchased this product before. You might like, with that pair of pants, you might like this shirt. Customization, the ability to change the product to better fit the needs of the customer. You might see a customer struggling to find something through they're searching, you're following their cookies, they're looking up information about more storage on their laptop. You might recommend a good RAM product that's on sale to get them more gigabyte, to give them a better storage for their laptop. Cookies, primary method for achieving that personalization. Again, we talked a little bit about the privacy challenge, but if you do have an honest dialogue with your consumers through social networks, through your website information, through your customer service channel, you can alleviate their concerns about cookies. Information policy, very, very important. Privacy policy, public statements must be on these sites. And you need to state how you will treat the customer's personal information, because the information that is gathered on consumers, if they don't like the way that you're handling it or you're not providing information, they're not going to come to your site, they're not going to buy. And so these are simple things, must have what I call table stakes to get into the game. Accessibility rules. A set of objectives that ensure disabled users can effectively access the site. So, understand how alt tags are used, how audio buttons can be used. So handling sites for the blind, for the hard of hearing, is all important for accessibility. Developing mobile sites. There are three major types. There's a mobile site, there's a mobile app, there's a native app for Ecommerce. And even within mobile sites, you think about it, there's a mobilized site and then there's a full site. Many sites, many e-commerce businesses roll out their e-commerce site, their full site, and they put an M dot in front of it, mobile.website.com. And it effectively is not fit for a mobile device, for a smartphone, for a tablet. They have just taken the old site, the full site, and rolled it over. No, don't do that. Build a mobile-ready site which has functionality and display capabilities, which recognize the user is coming from a mobile browser, and then off the web server serves up the mobile version of those pages that fit within the smartphone footprint. Other alternatives are web apps and native apps that are tailored for mobile commerce. These are important. Mobile apps. One of the challenges I find with mobile apps, though, is that it's the state of the art is not there in collecting real strong analytics, because the real strong analytics are coming from the server side. So a true mobile website that's been formatted for mobile devices is also being served up by a server at the e-commerce site or within their cloud, and you are tracking and measuring the activity on that mobile site. On the mobile app, it's a little bit harder to have that constant interconnection, because the actual mobile app resides on the smartphone. So that will change in time potentially, but it's not there yet. So building and planning your mobile presence, use the same systems analysis, design, and business objectives that we discussed earlier. Unique features taken into account designing mobile. Obviously, I mentioned a bunch of these. The hardware is smaller. Connectivity, slower connection feeds. In general, displays are smaller. And touchscreen interfaces. This is really important. Touchscreen interfaces. I was talking with someone that's building out a mobile app for a venue, a sports location. And what they were doing is taking the concession, meaning the food, or buy the jersey or buy the hot dog and the Coca-Cola, and have it delivered to your seat while you're watching the ball game. Now, they built the app. It's running on the phone. They have the ability to say, I want this product off the mobile app catalog. That's all working fine. And they have the seat locations. Section 10, say row 3, seat 2. They've identified all that. But then when you got to the touchscreen technology, they didn't have the one-click purchase or the two-click purchase. The way that the pay and the pay processing and the order management was set up incorrectly, in my point of view, was that they had to type in the credit card information on this teeny tiny screen. And you know how that goes. If you're typing away with your fat fingers like mine to actually enter something within your smartphone, you're going to make a mistake on your 10-digit credit card. And you're going to get frustrated and you're going to lose orders. So think about how things like one-click buying, Google Wallet integration would help for your mobile app. Very, very important tip, again, for your project. Developing a web presence, obviously the constraints we talked about. The least expensive is a mobile site. Yes, that's probably true. Mobile apps can utilize the browser API, yeah, but you also have to have a separate development effort that is separate and distinct from your e-commerce. A native app, heavy programming also. So, that's not tied directly to the browser. So you have to have that budgeted correctly. Okay, that's it. Thank you.